There's a force in the Zodiac that even the cosmos struggles to tame. A power so relentless, so unyielding, that those who encounter it are left with two choices: align with its path or be left behind in its wake. We're talking about Capricorn, the unstoppable mountain goat whose determination reshapes reality itself. Welcome to Secret of the Zodiac, where we peel back the celestial curtains to reveal what the stars have been whispering all along. Today, we're exploring why Capricorns remain the most uncontrollable force in the entire zodiac wheel, a truth that anyone who's loved, worked with, or raised a Capricorn knows all too well. Picture this: a Capricorn stands at the base of a mountain that everyone else has deemed impossible to climb. While others walk away, shaking their heads at the futility, the Capricorn is already calculating the first 10 moves upward. They don't announce their intentions with grand declarations. No, Capricorns move in silence, letting their achievements speak volumes while others are still talking about possibilities. This isn't just another personality quirk. It's the fundamental essence that separates Capricorns from every other sign. That unwavering focus, that quiet certainty that borders on stubbornness, is precisely what makes them impossible to manipulate, influence, or control. The Capricorn energy isn't just strong, it's transformative. Think about the Capricorns in your life right now. Aren't they the ones who somehow always end up in positions of authority? Not because they sought power, but because they simply outworked and outthought everyone around them. They're the colleagues who never needed a supervisor because their internal standards already exceeded any external expectations. They're the friends whose advice you treasure because they've already weathered storms you haven't yet seen on the horizon. What makes this sign truly fascinating isn't just their ambition, it's how they combine it with patience that would make ancient redwoods seem hasty in comparison. A Capricorn doesn't just chase success, they build it methodically, brick by brick, year after year, unfazed by trends, distractions, or the ever-shifting sands of public opinion. The zodiac calendar places Capricorn at the darkest time of year, when nights are longest and challenges seem most daunting. This is no coincidence. Capricorn energy emerges from darkness, from difficulty, from the places where others falter. While fire signs burn bright and air signs soar with ideas, earth sign Capricorn tunnels through the very bedrock of existence, reshaping reality through sheer persistence. As we explore the 12 specific reasons why nobody, not lovers, friends, bosses, or even parents, can truly control a Capricorn, you'll begin to recognize these patterns in the Capricorns you know. Or perhaps, if you were born under this powerful sign, you'll finally understand why you've always felt so different, so driven, so impossible to divert from your chosen path. The journey we're about to take will reveal exactly how Capricorns maintain their autonomy in a world constantly trying to bend them to its will. From their iron determination to their strategic minds, from their emotional fortresses to their unmatched patience, each element of Capricorn nature contributes to their uncontrollable nature. Have you ever wondered why a Capricorn seems to hear your advice, nod politely, and then proceed exactly as they had already planned? Or why trying to rush a Capricorn only makes them more methodical? Perhaps you've noticed how they seem to absorb life's hardest lessons without breaking, transforming challenges into stepping stones while others remain trapped in victimhood. Before we dive into the first 3 powerful reasons why Capricorns remain beyond control, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Our cosmic journey through the zodiac is just beginning, and you won't want to miss what the stars have in store for us next. Now, let's explore how the Capricorn's iron will and strategic mind form an impenetrable shield against external control. The first reason, their iron will is forged in the mountains of persistence. The Capricorn soul is not merely stubborn, it possesses something far more profound, an iron will tempered in the fires of life's harshest challenges. Unlike the fleeting determination of other signs, a Capricorn's resolve doesn't waver with changing circumstances or emotional tides. It stands immovable, like the ancient mountains that symbolize their nature. This iron will manifests in the Capricorn's legendary ability to endure. Where others abandon ship at the first sign of stormy waters, the Capricorn simply adjusts the sails and continues forward, eyes fixed on the distant shore that only they can see clearly. This isn't blind stubbornness, it's calculated persistence based on an unshakable belief in their vision. Consider how a Capricorn approaches obstacles. While most people see barriers as reasons to change direction, the Capricorn sees them as necessary tests of commitment. They instinctively understand something that eludes many. True achievement requires weathering the inevitable storms that accompany any worthwhile pursuit. Their response to difficulty isn't emotional or reactionary. It's methodical and resolute. This iron will give Capricorns an almost supernatural ability to outlast any attempt to divert them. Try to pressure a Capricorn, and you'll discover they operate on a different timeline altogether, one that prioritizes correctness over speed, substance over appearance. They've mastered the art of saying no without actually uttering the word, simply by continuing on their predetermined path regardless of external pressures. The cosmic joke is that the more someone tries to control a Capricorn, the more their iron will strengthen. It's as if the universe designed them specifically to resist manipulation, creating a self-reinforcing cycle that makes each attempt to control them less effective than the last. The second reason, they possess an internal compass that points only toward their own vision of success. While most people calibrate their definitions of success against external markers, wealth, status, recognition, Capricorns operate from a deeply internal value system that remains remarkably consistent throughout their lives. This internal compass isn't affected by social trends, peer pressure, or even the well-meaning advice of loved ones. A Capricorn's vision of success is intensely personal and often unconventional. They might pursue paths that seem unnecessarily difficult to others, foregoing easier routes because something within them recognizes the value of the harder journey. This isn't random stubbornness, it's alignment with their internal truths. What makes this internal compass so powerful is that it operates beneath conscious awareness. Even Capricorns themselves sometimes struggle to articulate why certain paths feel right while others feel wrong. They simply know, with bone-deep certainty, which mountain they're meant to climb. This intuitive knowing makes logical arguments or emotional appeals largely ineffective when trying to redirect them. The Capricorn's internal compass also gives them remarkable immunity to FOMO, the fear of missing out, that plagues so many in our hyper-connected age. While others frantically chase every new opportunity, scattered and directionless, the Capricorn moves with singular purpose, untroubled by the paths not taken. They understand intuitively that true achievement requires focus rather than diffusion. Perhaps most frustrating to those who try to influence them, Capricorns won't even argue with contradictory viewpoints. They simply absorb the information, measure it against their internal compass, and either integrate useful elements or discard the rest without drama or debate. Their course corrections, when they do occur, happen privately and on their own terms. The third reason, Capricorns have mastered the art of strategic silence. In a world where most people feel compelled to broadcast their every thought, intention, and plan, Capricorns understand the immense power of strategic silence. They reveal only what serves their purpose, keeping others perpetually guessing about their true intentions, limits, and capabilities. This isn't deception, it's strategic communication. Capricorns instinctively understand that words are currency, and they spend this currency with extraordinary care. They won't waste energy explaining their plans to those who haven't earned the right to know them, and they certainly won't expose their vulnerabilities to potential adversaries. Watch a Capricorn in a meeting or negotiation. While others rush to fill every silence with words, the Capricorn waits, observes, and speaks only when their contribution will have maximum impact. They understand that revealing too much too soon surrenders power and creates unnecessary vulnerability. Their strategic silence extends to their emotions as well. Capricorns process their feelings privately, sharing their emotional landscape only with a carefully selected inner circle. This emotional containment isn't repression. It's boundary setting that prevents others from using their feelings as leverage against them. What makes this strategic silence particularly powerful is how it combines with the Capricorn's natural poker face. They've perfected the art of the inscrutable expression, making it nearly impossible to discern when they're pleased, annoyed, impressed, or indifferent. This inscrutability functions as a mirror, causing others to project their own hopes, fears, and intentions onto the blank canvas the Capricorn presents. The ultimate power of the Capricorn's strategic silence is that it creates space to observe, to strategize, and to act with precision rather than haste. While others reveal their hands through endless chatter, Capricorns gather information, identify patterns, and formulate responses that serve their long-term objectives. Together, these three formidable traits, iron will, internal compass, and strategic silence, create a virtually impenetrable shield against external control. The Capricorn's iron will provides the strength to withstand pressure. Their internal compass ensures this strength is directed toward personally meaningful goals, and their strategic silence prevents others from identifying vulnerabilities that could be exploited. This combination explains why traditional influence tactics fail so spectacularly with Capricorns. Appeals to authority bounce off their internal sovereignty. Peer pressure dissolves against their indifference to external validation. Emotional manipulation can't gain traction without access to their genuine feelings. Even logical arguments must pass through the filter of their internal compass before gaining any purchase. For those seeking to influence rather than control a Capricorn, understanding these dynamics offers valuable guidance. Rather than pushing against the immovable mountain of Capricorn determination, wise individuals align with the direction the Capricorn is already moving. Rather than demanding transparency, they earn trust through consistency and respect for boundaries. Rather than expecting immediate responses, they provide space for the Capricorn to process and decide in their own time. The profound lesson Capricorns teach us is that true power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from governing ourselves. Their unflinching self-possession, their clarity of purpose, and their strategic restraint model a sovereignty that inspires even as it frustrates those with control-seeking tendencies. As we transition to our next three reasons, we'll explore how Capricorn's legendary patience further reinforces their uncontrollable nature, creating a fortress of self-determination that no external force can breach. The fourth reason, their patience outlasts any attempt to pressure them. Time flows differently for Capricorns. While the modern world sprints at breakneck pace, constantly seeking instant gratification, Capricorns operate on geological time, measuring progress in years and decades rather than hours and days. This profound patience gives them an almost supernatural immunity to one of the most common control tactics, pressure. Try rushing a Capricorn and you'll witness something remarkable. Rather than speeding up, they often slow down, becoming more deliberate, more methodical, more thorough. It's as if pressure activates a counterbalancing mechanism within them. The harder you push, the more firmly they root themselves in their own timeline. This isn't stubbornness for its own sake. Capricorns intuitively understand something that eludes many. True quality cannot be rushed. The oak that grows slowly produces the strongest timber. The wine that ages longest develops the most complex flavor. The foundation built with care supports the tallest structure. Their patience isn't passive waiting. It's active cultivation of superior outcomes. What makes this patience particularly powerful as a defense against control is how it dismantles urgency tactics. We need an answer now. This opportunity won't last. Everyone else is moving quickly. These pressure statements that effectively manipulate other signs simply wash over Capricorns without effect. They've seen too many once-in-a-lifetime opportunities come and go to be swayed by artificial deadlines. Perhaps most impressively, Capricorns apply this patience to themselves. While others abandon long-term pursuits at the first plateau, Capricorns understand that meaningful growth includes periods of apparent stagnation. They continue investing effort even when visible progress slows, trusting the process they've committed to with unwavering faith that would make spiritual masters envious. The Capricorn's relationship with time also gives them a unique perspective on failure. What others see as defeat, they view as data, valuable information to incorporate into their next approach. This resilience makes them impossible to discourage, as they interpret setbacks not as reasons to abandon their path, but as necessary refinements to their strategy. The fifth reason, their analytical minds instantly detect manipulation. Beneath the Capricorn's composed exterior lies one of the Zodiac's most formidable analytical minds, a mental apparatus constantly processing information, identifying patterns, and detecting inconsistencies with remarkable precision. This analytical capacity serves as an early warning system against manipulation, making Capricorns exceptionally difficult to deceive or influence through subtle tactics. Trying to control a Capricorn through manipulation is like attempting to outmaneuver a chess grandmaster who's already calculated 10 moves ahead. They notice the small discrepancies in your statements, the subtle shifts in your behavior, the convenient timing of your requests. While they may not immediately call attention to these observations, they're silently cataloging them, building a comprehensive understanding of your true intentions. This analytical prowess extends beyond logic to include emotional intelligence. Capricorns possess an uncanny ability to separate genuine sentiment from performative display. Crocodile tears don't move them. Exaggerated enthusiasm doesn't convince them. Theatrical displays of hurt feelings don't manipulate them. They respond to emotional authenticity, not emotional theatrics. What makes this analytical mind particularly effective as a defense against control is how thoroughly Capricorns have studied human nature. Through patient observation throughout their lives, they've developed sophisticated models of human behavior that allow them to recognize manipulation tactics they haven't personally experienced before. They can detect the underlying pattern even when the specific approach is novel. The Capricorn's analytical mind also gives them a remarkable capacity for objectivity. While others become entangled in emotional dynamics that cloud judgment, Capricorns maintain emotional distance that allows for clear assessment. This doesn't mean they lack empathy. Rather, they can empathize without becoming emotionally hijacked, maintaining their decisional sovereignty even in charged situations. Perhaps most disarming to those attempting manipulation, Capricorns rarely reveal when they've detected such efforts. They won't create unnecessary confrontation by calling out every manipulative tactic they observe. Instead, they simply adjust their boundaries accordingly, limiting access and information while maintaining outward civility. The manipulator is left wondering why their usually effective tactics have mysteriously failed. The sixth reason, behind their practical exterior lies a fiercely independent spirit. Don't be fooled by the Capricorn's conventional appearance. Behind their practical exterior, professional demeanor, and traditional approach lies one of the Zodiac's most fiercely independent spirits, a soul that would rather walk alone on the correct path than follow the crowd down an easier road. This independence isn't the flashy rebellion of fire signs or the intellectual nonconformity of air signs. Capricorn independence runs deeper, manifesting as a fundamental self-sufficiency that makes external control not just unwelcome, but unnecessary. They don't need others to provide direction, motivation, or validation. They generate these internally, creating a closed system that operates independently of external input. What makes this independence particularly powerful as a defense against control is the Capricorn's comfort with solitude. While many can be manipulated through their fear of isolation or rejection, Capricorns have made peace with walking alone when necessary. They value the clarity and focus that comes with solitude, recognizing it as a space of renewal rather than punishment. This independent spirit explains why social pressure tactics fail so spectacularly with Capricorns. Everyone else is doing it holds no persuasive power for a sign that instinctively questions crowd behavior. People will think less of you carries no weight with someone who values internal approval above external validation. You're missing out doesn't land with individuals who carefully curate their experiences based on personal values rather than social trends. Capricorn's independence extends to their thinking as well. They form opinions through thorough personal investigation rather than adopting pre-packaged viewpoints. This intellectual sovereignty makes them resistant to thought leadership, immune to bandwagon effects, and skeptical of consensus that hasn't earned their respect through demonstrable merit. Perhaps most significantly, this fierce independence gives Capricorns an unusual relationship with authority. Unlike rebels who reflexively oppose authority, or conformists who automatically defer to it, Capricorns evaluate each authority figure on their merits. They respect earned authority based on competence and integrity, while remaining unmoved by positional authority, unsupported by actual capability. This discernment makes them impossible to control through appeals to hierarchy alone. The combination of these three powerful traits, glacial patience, analytical perception, and fierce independence, creates an individual who remains firmly at the helm of their own life, regardless of external pressures. The Capricorn's patience disarms urgency tactics. Their analytical mind detects subtle manipulation, and their independent spirit provides the courage to stand alone when their integrity requires it. For those seeking to form healthy relationships with Capricorns, understanding these traits offers valuable guidance. Rather than applying pressure, provide space and time for thorough consideration. Rather than attempting manipulation, offer transparent communication with clearly stated intentions. Rather than demanding conformity, respect their independent judgment even when it differs from conventional wisdom. The Capricorn teaches us that true influence comes not through control tactics, but through demonstrating actual value. They respond to competence, integrity, and authenticity, not pressure, manipulation, or social coercion. Their unflinching self-sovereignty models a way of moving through the world that is increasingly rare and increasingly valuable in our hyper-connected age. As we move into our next section, we'll explore how Capricorn's emotional architecture, their carefully constructed fortress of feeling, further reinforces their uncontrollable nature, creating yet another layer of protection against external influence. The seventh reason, they've built emotional fortresses with walls too high for casual influence. The emotional architecture of a Capricorn is nothing short of masterful. A carefully designed fortress constructed over a lifetime, with walls high enough to withstand sieges and gates that open only for those who have truly earned passage. Unlike the transparent emotional landscape of water signs or the volatile emotional expression of fire signs, Capricorn's emotional world exists behind layers of protection that make them virtually impenetrable to casual influence. This emotional fortress isn't built from fear, it's built from wisdom. Through early life experiences that often include significant challenges, Capricorns learn quickly that emotional vulnerability, when offered indiscriminately, becomes a liability rather than a strength. Their response isn't to shut down emotionally, but to become extraordinarily selective about who receives access to their genuine feelings. What makes this emotional fortress particularly effective against control tactics is its sophisticated security system. Capricorns develop an intuitive ability to detect those who approach their emotional world with ulterior motives. The manipulator seeking an emotional entry point for influence, the energy vampire hungry for emotional supply, the fair weather friend looking for convenient intimacy, all find themselves politely but firmly kept in the outer courtyard of the Capricorn's emotional architecture, never granted access to the inner chambers where true vulnerability resides. The gatekeeping to this fortress operates on a proving ground model rather than an immediate access system. Capricorns evaluate potential emotional confidants through extended observation, noting how they handle others' vulnerability, how they respond to adversity, how consistent their character remains across contexts. This methodical assessment can't be circumvented by love bombing, instant intimacy tactics, or emotional urgency, techniques that might successfully breach the boundaries of other signs. Perhaps most significantly, Capricorns understand something that eludes many. True emotional intimacy must be earned rather than demanded. They reject the entitled approach of those who believe that declaring affection or expressing need automatically grants access to someone else's emotional world. Instead, they operate on a principle of emotional merit. Access is granted based on demonstrated trustworthiness over time, not immediate emotional demands. This carefully maintained emotional fortress makes Capricorns extraordinarily difficult to manipulate through emotional leverage. The classic control tactics that exploit emotional vulnerability, guilt trips, emotional blackmail, manufactured crises, simply bounce off the high walls of their emotional architecture. Without easy access to their emotional core, would-be manipulators find themselves without the leverage necessary for control. The eighth reason, their self-discipline is legendary. At the heart of the Capricorn's uncontrollable nature lies a quality so powerful that ancient philosophers considered it the ultimate virtue, extraordinary self-discipline. While other signs might fleetingly achieve disciplined states, Capricorns embody discipline as a way of life, developing an internal authority so strong that external temptations and pressures have remarkably little effect on their chosen course. This self-discipline isn't the rigid, joyless restriction that outsiders sometimes mistake it for. It's a masterful relationship with desire, an ability to distinguish between fleeting wants and genuine needs, between immediate pleasures and lasting fulfillment. Capricorns don't reject pleasure. They prioritize meaningful satisfaction over momentary gratification, understanding that the richest enjoyments often require patience and investment. What makes this self-discipline particularly powerful as a defense against control is how it neutralizes one of the most common influence tactics, temptation. Offers that would distract other signs from their path, quick money that compromises integrity, shortcuts that sacrifice quality, indulgences that deplete resources needed for larger goals, hold little appeal for the self-disciplined Capricorn. They've trained themselves to evaluate offers through the lens of long-term impact rather than immediate benefit. The Capricorn's self-discipline also manifests as remarkable impulse control, while others are vulnerable to provocations designed to trigger impulsive reactions, anger that leads to hasty words, fear that prompts premature concessions, excitement that clouds judgment. Capricorns maintain their composure, responding deliberately rather than reactively. This emotional self-governance makes them impossible to manipulate through triggered states. Perhaps most impressively, Capricorns apply this discipline internally as well as externally. They don't just resist external temptations. They actively govern their own thoughts, refusing to indulge in mental patterns that undermine their goals. Catastrophizing, victimization narratives, self-sabotaging beliefs, these mental indulgences that derail many people's efforts, are systematically identified and redirected by the disciplined Capricorn mind. This legendary self-discipline, this well-developed internal authority, creates individuals who simply cannot be controlled through the normal mechanisms of social influence. External authority carries little weight with those who have mastered self-governance. Social pressure fails to move those who have aligned their actions with personal values rather than public opinion. Temptation loses its power over those who measure satisfaction in decades rather than moments. The ninth reason, they've learned life's hardest lessons. Early, there's a peculiar maturity to Capricorns, even in their youth, a wisdom in their eyes that speaks of early encounters with life's most challenging realities. Unlike signs that preserve innocence well into adulthood, Capricorns often experience their most difficult challenges early, developing a premature understanding of limitation, consequence, and mortality that gives them unusual perspective and remarkable immunity to manipulation. This early wisdom isn't theoretical knowledge, but lived experience, the kind that transforms abstract understanding into bone-deep knowing. Many Capricorns face significant responsibilities, complex family dynamics, or challenging circumstances in childhood that force premature maturity. Rather than breaking under these pressures, they develop unprecedented strength, learning to navigate complexity, while others are still enjoying simplicity. What makes this early wisdom particularly effective against control tactics is the Capricorn's resultant immunity to naivete-based manipulation. The false promises, exaggerated opportunities, and empty flattery that successfully influence those still maintaining optimistic inexperience simply don't work on individuals who have already encountered life's hard edges. Capricorns have developed a finely calibrated reality testing system, that instantly identifies discrepancies between claim and probability. This early wisdom also gives Capricorns unusual perspective on adversity itself. While others might be manipulated through fear of difficulty or discomfort, Capricorns have already faced challenging realities and discovered their own capacity for endurance. They don't panic at the prospect of hardship or make desperate decisions to avoid temporary discomfort, having learned through experience that they can withstand more than most imagine possible. Perhaps most significantly, this early wisdom includes sophisticated understanding of human nature, both its potential for greatness and its capacity for deception. Capricorns have usually witnessed both the best and worst of humanity by the time others are still maintaining idealized views. This realistic assessment doesn't make them cynical, but pragmatic, unwilling to base important decisions on idealized expectations of human behavior. The combination of these three powerful traits, emotional fortification, extraordinary self-discipline, and premature wisdom, creates individuals with unprecedented psychological sovereignty. The Capricorn's emotional fortress prevents exploitation of vulnerability. Their self-discipline neutralizes temptation tactics, and their early wisdom provides immunity to manipulation through naivete or fear. For those seeking genuine connection with Capricorns, understanding these traits offers valuable guidance. Rather than attempting to breach their emotional walls through force, demonstrate trustworthiness through consistent respect for boundaries. Rather than offering tempting distractions from their path, show appreciation for their disciplined pursuit of meaningful goals. Rather than presenting idealized scenarios, engage with the nuanced reality their wisdom has already recognized. The profound lesson Capricorns teach through these qualities is that true freedom comes not from external circumstances, but from internal sovereignty. Their carefully maintained emotional boundaries, their masterful relationship with desire, and their clear-eyed assessment of reality create a psychological independence that no external force can easily compromise. As we prepare to explore our final three reasons, we'll discover how the Capricorn's approach to loyalty, ambition, and skepticism further reinforces their uncontrollable nature, completing our understanding of why these remarkable individuals remain masters of their own destiny, regardless of external pressures or manipulations. The 10th reason, their loyal nature is selective Capricorn. Loyalty defies modern understanding in a world of casual connections and disposable relationships. When they commit to a person, a principle, or a purpose, they commit with their entire being, creating bonds of such enduring strength that they become virtually unbreakable. However, what makes this loyalty particularly powerful as a shield against external control is its profoundly selective nature. Unlike signs that distribute loyalty widely or form attachments easily, Capricorns operate on a highly discriminating system, granting their allegiance only after thorough evaluation. This isn't emotional stinginess, it's emotional intelligence. They understand intuitively that authentic loyalty requires substantial investment, and they wisely reserve this precious resource for relationships and causes that have demonstrated genuine worthiness. The selection process for Capricorn loyalty operates on multiple dimensions simultaneously. They assess character across various contexts, noting consistency between words and actions. They observe responses to adversity, recognizing that true character emerges most clearly under pressure. They evaluate reciprocity, not in terms of equal exchange, but mutual respect for boundaries and values. Only when a relationship passes these rigorous assessments does it receive the invaluable gift of Capricorn loyalty. What makes this selective loyalty particularly effective against control tactics is how it neutralizes one of the most common manipulation techniques, leveraging relationship obligation. The guilt trips that work on more indiscriminately loyal signs. After all we've been through, if you really cared about me, I've always been there for you, fail spectacularly with Capricorns because their loyalty includes clearly defined boundaries that no emotional appeal can override. This selective loyalty also creates fascinating immunity to triangulation attempts. While others might be manipulated through jealousy, competitive dynamics, or fear of replacement, Capricorns maintain remarkable clarity about their relationships. Their loyalty isn't easily threatened because it wasn't easily granted. Having invested significant discernment before committing their loyalty, they don't withdraw it based on momentary emotions or external provocations. Perhaps most significantly, Capricorns understand something that eludes many. True loyalty sometimes requires refusing requests rather than accommodating them. They recognize that enabling harmful behavior or supporting misaligned goals doesn't constitute genuine loyalty, but it's counterfeit. This nuanced understanding makes them immune to manipulation through loyalty tests or demands that contradict the authentic well-being of the relationship. This selective but unshakable loyalty means that once a person or cause has truly earned Capricorn allegiance, no external force can easily sever that connection. The Capricorn who has decided you deserve their loyalty will stand beside you through hurricanes of adversity, unmoved by gossip, unswayed by social pressure, and undeterred by personal cost. However, this formidable loyalty operates within clear boundaries that no amount of manipulation can successfully breach. The 11th reason: their ambitious nature means they're always several moves ahead. At the heart of Capricorn psychology lies ambition so profound it shapes their entire approach to existence. Unlike the sporadic ambition of fire signs or the conceptual ambition of air signs, Capricorn ambition manifests as a comprehensive strategic orientation, a perpetual awareness of how present actions connect to future outcomes, how small moves build toward major achievements, how patience and positioning ultimately determine success. This strategic mindset operates like a master chess player's approach, constantly calculating multiple potential move sequences, anticipating responses, identifying vulnerabilities, and positioning pieces for advantages that won't materialize for many turns. While others play checkers, reacting to immediate circumstances, Capricorns play chess, making moves that appear insignificant to observers, but establish the foundation for victories that become inevitable through careful planning. What makes this strategic orientation particularly powerful as a defense against control is how it creates an informational asymmetry between Capricorns and those attempting to influence them. The Capricorn understands their own long-term strategy, while others see only isolated actions. This allows them to incorporate influence attempts into their existing plans, redirecting external pressure to serve their own objectives rather than derailing them. This strategic thinking also manifests as remarkable situational awareness. Capricorns maintain continuous peripheral vision of their environment, noting subtle shifts in dynamics, emerging opportunities, and developing threats long before others recognize them. This environmental scanning makes them virtually impossible to blindside with unexpected developments, as they've likely already factored potential disruptions into their planning. Perhaps most impressively, Capricorns maintain this strategic orientation without becoming rigid. They combine long-term vision with tactical flexibility, adjusting methods while maintaining ultimate objectives. This adaptability makes them especially difficult to control through obstruction tactics, as they simply recalculate their route without abandoning their destination, finding alternative paths when primary routes become blocked. The Capricorn's future-oriented planning creates individuals who simply cannot be manipulated through short-term thinking. The impulsivity triggers that work on more present-focused signs, fear of missing immediate opportunities, anxiety about short-term setbacks, excitement about quick gains, have minimal effect on those who measure success in years rather than moments. They evaluate every opportunity and challenge through the lens of long-term impact, remaining unmoved by the temporal myopia that makes others vulnerable to manipulation. The 12th reason: the Saturnian influence gives them a natural skepticism ruled by Saturn, the cosmic taskmaster and lord of boundaries. Capricorns inherit a natural skepticism that serves as an impenetrable shield against control tactics in all their forms. This isn't the cynicism that expects the worst of others, but a healthy questioning that requires verification before acceptance, a prove-it orientation that places the burden of evidence on claims rather than the burden of disproof on doubters. This Saturnian skepticism manifests most visibly in the Capricorn's response to promises. While other signs might be moved by enthusiastic assurances of future delivery, Capricorns respond with their characteristic reserve. I'll believe it when I see it. They understand instinctively that intentions, however sincere, matter far less than results, and they allocate their trust accordingly to demonstrated capability rather than declared intention. What makes this skepticism particularly effective against manipulation is how thoroughly it immunizes Capricorns against persuasion through authority. Unlike signs that might be influenced by impressive credentials, institutional affiliation, or social status, Capricorns evaluate claims based on internal coherence and alignment with observed reality rather than the position of the person making them. This intellectual sovereignty makes them remarkably resistant to arguments from authority that effectively sway others. This skepticism also creates powerful immunity to social proof tactics. While others might be persuaded by popularity, trends, or majority opinion, Capricorns maintain a healthy suspicion of crowd behavior, recognizing how frequently collective movements lead to collective errors. They understand that widespread agreement doesn't necessarily indicate correctness, but sometimes reflects shared blindness to important, contradictory evidence. Perhaps most significantly, Capricorns apply this skepticism reflexively, questioning not only external claims, but their own assumptions and conclusions. This intellectual humility, this willingness to subject their own thinking to the same rigorous evaluation they apply to others, creates individuals who cannot be easily manipulated through ego dynamics, flattery that plays on intellectual vanity, arguments that exploit confirmation bias, appeals that trigger defensive reasoning. These common influence tactics that leverage cognitive vulnerabilities find little purchase with the self-questioning Capricorn. This natural skepticism, this instinctive questioning, creates a mind that cannot be controlled through information manipulation. Capricorns consume information differently than other signs, processing claims through filters of plausibility, internal consistency, and alignment with observed reality. This careful evaluation means that misleading narratives, emotionally compelling but factually dubious claims, and persuasive but logically flawed arguments simply don't penetrate their mental models of reality. The combination of these final three traits, selective loyalty, strategic thinking, and natural skepticism, completes our understanding of why Capricorns remain fundamentally uncontrollable. Their selective loyalty prevents manipulation through relationship leverage, their strategic orientation neutralizes short-term pressure tactics, and their natural skepticism provides immunity to information-based influence attempts. For those seeking to develop authentic relationships with Capricorns, these traits offer invaluable guidance. Rather than attempting to bypass their loyalty boundaries, demonstrate worthiness through consistent integrity. Rather than focusing on immediate benefits, show appreciation for their long-term vision. Rather than expecting acceptance of claims on authority or popularity, provide substantive evidence that satisfies their healthy skepticism. The profound wisdom Capricorns embody through these qualities is that true autonomy requires vigilance, careful curation of loyalties, strategic orientation toward the future, and healthy skepticism toward information and claims. Their uncompromising sovereignty in these domains creates individuals who move through life on their own terms, immune to the countless influence tactics that successfully redirect others from their chosen paths. The uncontrollable nature of Capricorn reveals itself through 12 distinct but interconnected qualities, each reinforcing an impenetrable sovereignty that makes these individuals masters of their own destiny, regardless of external attempts at influence or control. We began by exploring the Capricorn's iron will, forged in the mountains of persistence, that provides the strength to maintain course despite opposition or difficulty. This unwavering determination combines with their internal compass, pointing only toward their own vision of success, creating individuals who measure achievement against personal standards rather than external markers. Their strategic silence, revealing only what serves their purpose, completes this first layer of defense against external control. The second layer revealed the Capricorn's relationship with time and perception, their geological patience that outlasts any attempt to pressure them, their analytical minds that instantly detect manipulation, and their fiercely independent spirits that would rather walk alone than follow misaligned paths. This combination creates individuals who cannot be rushed, deceived, or socially pressured into abandoning their chosen direction. Our exploration then uncovered the Capricorn's emotional architecture, their carefully constructed emotional fortresses with walls too high for casual influence, their legendary self-discipline that makes external temptations powerless, and their premature wisdom from learning life's hardest lessons early. These traits create unprecedented psychological sovereignty, immune to emotional manipulation tactics that successfully influence others. Finally, we discovered how the Capricorn's approach to relationships and information completes their uncontrollable nature, their selective but unbreakable loyalty, their strategic orientation that keeps them always several moves ahead, and their natural Saturnian skepticism that functions as an impenetrable shield against informational manipulation. Together, these qualities create individuals who move through life on their own terms, immune to the countless influence tactics that successfully redirect others. The profound wisdom embodied in Capricorn nature teaches us that true autonomy requires more than mere independence. It demands discernment in commitment, strategic foresight, and healthy questioning of both external and internal narratives. Their uncompromising sovereignty offers a model of self-possession increasingly valuable in our hyper-connected world, where subtle influence attempts saturate our information environment. For those who love Capricorns, this understanding provides invaluable guidance. Rather than attempting to control these uncontrollable beings, wise individuals align with the direction Capricorns are already moving, demonstrate trustworthiness through consistency and respect for boundaries, and engage with the substance of ideas rather than relying on authority or popularity to persuade. For Capricorns themselves, this exploration offers validation of their natural tendencies that others often misinterpret as stubbornness, coldness, or unnecessary caution. The qualities that make you difficult in the eyes of those seeking to control are precisely the qualities that make you masterful architects of your own destiny. If you've recognized yourself or someone you love in this exploration of Capricorn nature, we invite you to continue the conversation in the comments below. Which of these 12 qualities resonates most strongly with your experience? How has your uncontrollable Capricorn nature served you in maintaining your authentic path despite external pressures? What additional traits would you add to our understanding of why nobody can control Capricorn? Your insights deepen our collective understanding of this remarkable sign and help others appreciate the wisdom inherent in Capricorn nature. The conversation continues in the comments section, where every perspective adds valuable dimension to our exploration. If you found value in this deep dive into Capricorn psychology, please support The Secret of the Zodiac by subscribing to our channel. New videos exploring the hidden dimensions of each zodiac sign are released weekly, offering insights you won't find in conventional astrological interpretations. Hit the notification bell to ensure you never miss our latest revelations. We also invite you to explore our complete Zodiac series, where we uncover the secret strengths, hidden vulnerabilities, and untapped potential of each sign with the same depth and nuance demonstrated in this exploration of Capricorn. Your likes and comments directly influence which signs and topics we explore next, so please take a moment to hit the like button and share your thoughts below. Every engagement helps this content reach others seeking deeper understanding of the cosmic forces shaping human experience. For those who wish to support this work more substantially, we greatly appreciate contributions through the Super Thanks feature. Your financial support helps cover the considerable research, production, and operating costs involved in creating daily content of this quality. Each contribution directly enables us to maintain our publishing schedule and expand our exploration into even more specialized astrological topics that rarely receive in-depth treatment elsewhere. The secret of the zodiac exists to illuminate the profound wisdom encoded in astrological archetypes, offering insights that extend far beyond personality descriptions into the realm of psychological sovereignty and authentic living. Join us on this continuing journey of cosmic discovery by subscribing today.